Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to Keeping Fish Simple. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys the top 3 most popular Apistogramma tank mates in the aquarium hobby. Now, these aren't going to be the official most popular tank mates. I don't know what you guys think. These are going to be my top tank mates for these guys to keep in your aquarium if you're looking for a couple of ideas. So make sure you stay around to the end of the video to see the top 3. Now, the Apistogramma is a pretty broad term to use for a group of different types of dwarf cichlids that we have in the aquarium hobby. So the Apistogramma is a dwarf cichlid. It's a species of dwarf cichlid with a bunch of different types. You can get McMasterized, you can get Cacatoides, which I have, you can get Borellized, Agassizii. There's so many different types that you guys can get. So this video is pretty much going to basically summarize all of those because these guys have pretty much the exact same behavioral conditions and water parameters and all that kind of stuff. So the most important thing to note about the Apistogramma is that they are a more sensitive and fragile kind of fish. So they're definitely not a beginner style of fish. They're not something that I'd recommend for new aquarium keepers to keep. It's something that I'd recommend for some more experienced aquariums to take on and try later on in the hobby. So they like a pH lower than neutral, so they like a pH of around 7 downwards. You can keep them at about 7.5, but they are really going to do really well if you keep them below that. And temperature wise, they like it a little bit warmer. I keep mine at about 24 degrees Celsius, which I think is about 76 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm still not very good at this stuff. I'm still trying to get that in my head. And they also are a low dwelling fish, so they like to stay towards the bottom of the aquarium. They like a bit of real estate down there. They like a tank of about 20 gallons, but they really like to occupy the bottom of it, and they like to mark their territory. And if you keep them in a pair, sometimes you can get them to breed, but they, even if they're not going to breed for you, they'll still take a part of the aquarium and they'll pair off and they'll sit in that little piece of real estate there. So it's important to notice that they can be a little bit more aggressive. There's some fish that you definitely can't keep with them, so maybe some stuff with really long fins that's slow isn't good. I would recommend keeping them with stuff like angelfish and all that kind of thing because they aren't very quick and they'll probably get their fins nipped, especially if they go down towards the bottom of the aquarium. So we're looking for stuff that hangs around the top to the mid of the aquarium and it isn't really going to head down to the bottom and is just going to add a little bit of extra display for you, and maybe you can run a couple of breeding projects or some stuff like that. It's completely up to you. So my number 1 on this list is going to be the neon tetra. So this is going to be the neon tetra / cardinal tetra. They're both very similar fish. The neon tetra is a schooling fish. It stays pretty small, but we don't have to worry about that because the Apistogramma stays very small as well. Now these guys have obviously that huge beautiful blue line on them and that red coloring, so they're a beautiful fish. They all school. You have to feed them really smaller food. They won't be able to fit big things in their mouth, and they aren't that sensitive at all. They're a decent beginner fish. They're not something that I'd completely recommend. They're hard to breed. You're not going to probably be able to breed them easily. These are definitely a fish to consider if you want to keep with them. There's going to be a whole different range of fish that you can keep with these guys. I tried to keep it under 3, but you can definitely keep stuff like rasboras and pencilfish and all that kind of stuff, but I'm pretty much going to say the neon tetra is a great tank mate, but you can also keep all those other things. I'll list them just up here so you can pause the video or whatever and have a quick look. My number 2 fish on this list to keep with your Apistogramma is something that you're probably not going to hear much, and it's the dwarf neon rainbow fish. So the reason I say this is they are a top dwelling fish and they're a schooling fish as well, but they're pretty quick and they don't have long fins. Now they have a really cool iridescent display. They're like a bluey kind of fish color. I've been keeping these guys for not that long and I've been breeding them and all that kind of stuff, but they look so sick. And the reason that they're good with these guys is they kind of are able to take that lower pH, so that neutral kind of pH is what they like. Sometimes they like it a bit high, but it really doesn't matter with these guys too much. Again, these aren't a beginner fish. I probably wouldn't recommend to keep these for beginners. They can be quite sensitive because they're just new to the hobby from what I understand. So that's why they're not really used to the tank conditions, and that's why I'm currently trying to breed them and keep them in a captive environment and really try and enhance their steadiness and sturdiness. So that's my second fish to keep on this list. They're a great fish if you're looking for something that's going to stay under 2 inches. They will take a whole range of different foods. They like the same foods as the Apistogrammas do, and you can actually breed them by just chucking a spawning mop in the aquarium. So a video is going to come out for that soon, so make sure you stay tuned on the channel. That brings us to number 3. Now my number 3 fish is going to be something that kind of contradicts what I said at the start of the video, but it's going to be the Bristolmyers pleco. Now the reason I'm going to say this is because the Bristolmyers pleco is relatively small. It stays quite small. You can keep 1 or 2 of these guys in the 20-gallon aquarium just fine, and the reason I've said this is because they're so sturdy and they also keep the tank clean. When I mean clean, I mean they keep all the surface algae away, so that algae that grows on the glass, they'll eat that all and they'll make sure that the tank stays clean, so you don't have to worry too much about the tank getting dirty and like having to scrape it that much, because they do a real good job of keeping it clean. At least in my aquariums they do. But they're super sturdy. Mine get a bit of bullying from my Apistogrammas, but the reason they're good too is the Apistogrammas kind of target them, but they can take it because they got such big shells and all that kind of stuff. Like they're not going to get hurt by these guys, and it also distracts a male from a female because he's too busy marking his territory with the dither fish. So these were the top 3. I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to leave a like and maybe consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.